Apparently, Meghan Markle is now on the cover of Harper's Bazaar. Okay, she's on the cover of Harper's Bazaar.
Meghan Markle, and to no one's surprise, it is the exact same stories and sound bites and tidbits.
And she's going, "Oh, what are you writing about?" I said, "Oh, she's given this interview to Harper's Bazaar magazine."
Meghan Markle sold her soul to the devil to get a cover, not on Vogue, which is the one that she wanted, but on Harper's Bazaar. Oh, bizarre.
Let's stick with Meghan. She sat down with Harper's Bazaar for another tell-all interview. Kinsey for the cover.
That is just what's happened overnight with this extraordinary cover feature on Harper's Bazaar with Meghan Markle.
Delusion on display. Meghan's new interview in Harper's Bazaar came out, and I want to talk about it, but we're not going to go through the whole thing.
We're going to dig into this one today because she is out there. She's cover girl now for Harper's Bazaar.
The First Lady of Montecito, Meghan Markle.
Meghan Markle interview. She is one of the most disliked known figures. She has nothing new going on.
I mean, she's seen that some of this no makeup, natural look is playing very well for some other famous women.
This woman looks rough, aged, and this is in spite of all the airbrushing they did.
By the magazine editor that wanted to turn you into a star, that in their cover feature...
All right, huge disclaimer. We are not reading the entire Bazaar article because it was bizarre. And honestly, Meghan Markle is just, let me think about it. Delulu with the capital D.
Did Meghan Markle just prove in her Harper's Bazaar interview?
Meghan Markle, the Duchess of Sussex, it's revealed in a new interview given to Harper Bazaar magazine.
When you are important, nobody needs to introduce you because they know who you are. But of course, Meghan Markle has to have somebody announce her using the colonialist title. I tried to make my hair as raggedy as possible to kind of...
Child, let me tell you, when Harper's Bazaar thought they were about to pull off a comeback moment with Meghan Markle, oh honey, they had no idea what storm they were walking into. You could almost feel the universe whispering, "Not this time, sweetheart." Meghan walked into that shoot thinking she was about to silence critics, redeem her image, reclaim her sparkle, but the second that cover went live, something was off. Not the lighting, not the camera, it was the energy. That uneasy, unspoken energy that says a story's being sold, but no one's buying it anymore. The world didn't gasp. There was no applause, no buzz. It was quiet, too quiet. But make no mistake, that kind of silence, that's louder than any scandal. Because behind that calm was disappointment, sharp, cold, and honest. People didn't need words. The photos said enough.
Meghan Markle, okay, she was British royalty. Meghan Markle was as high as you could get in British society and basically global society. I mean, we just saw they had a massive state dinner at Windsor Castle.
Even Harper's Bazaar, bless their hearts, knew they'd missed the mark. You could see it in the faces behind the scenes, that oh no kind of look you get when you realize your big idea just flopped. Quietly, they admitted it among themselves. This one's one of our weakest in years. Imagine that. Meghan thought she was walking into her renaissance, and instead, she walked into a reality check. See, she went in with a plan. Look natural, look wise, look like a woman reborn from the storm. The intention was deep, soulful, poetic. But baby, what came out looked more like a forced version of peace. The camera, it caught the truth she tried to hide.
Is the exact same stories and sound bites and tidbits that she has said at least 3 other times. There is not one single new anecdote in this interview, if you can believe it. I have read it, skimmed over it very quickly.
When those final shots came out, nothing felt real. The natural looked half finished. The soft lighting, it made her look tired, not tranquil. Every expression felt tight, like someone overthinking every blink. Not a single frame where she seemed relaxed or connected. It was all effort, not essence. That disconnect that was the problem. Because no matter how expensive the makeup or talented the photographer, if your soul isn't at ease, the lens will snitch on you every single time. That camera picked up the tension, not the good kind, but that quiet desperation of a woman trying too hard to prove she's okay. For someone who built her whole image on confidence, this shoot showed someone unsure, fragile, grasping. And for someone obsessed with controlling the narrative, those cracks in her mask, they were impossible to hide. And just when you thought that was the problem, no. The real mess came when folks started reading the interview. Because, baby, the tone didn't match those photos at all. Now, Harper's Bazaar ain't just some glossy mag, it's a whole machine. When a cover hits right, you feel it in the first hour. Shares shoot up, fashion editors gush, PR teams toast with champagne. But this time, Oh, honey, none of that happened. Inside those fancy offices, you could hear the unease. The editors weren't celebrating. They were watching, hoping, praying, but the numbers stayed flat. The audience wasn't connecting. Influencers didn't repost. Readers didn't call it bold or artistic. It was dead air, and in that world, silence is death. Behind closed doors, the whispers started. Maybe the tone's wrong. Maybe the concept didn't land. Translation? This didn't work, y'all. Because when the experts start using soft language like that, it's over. The audience felt something fake. The energy wasn't honest, and no amount of glossy editing could fix that. But Meghan, poor thing, she had no clue the real blow was coming from her own words. The interview, meant to heal her image, exposed her even more. Every sentence sounded PR polished, like she was performing authenticity instead of living it. Talking about boundaries, healing, growth, and protecting her peace. Oh, we've heard it all before. Those words have become her comfort blanket. But when the world sees your lifestyle doesn't match your speeches, baby, the act collapses. She preaches privacy, yet her life is a headline. Says she wants peace, yet she stays in the center of drama. That contradiction, that gap between words and actions, it's what made people sigh instead of cheer. And when she tried to sound poetic, soft, enlightened, it came across as rehearsed. Bravo! What do you feel about Meghan Markle copying you? See, there's that Meghan performance voice, slow, deliberate, almost mystical, but it doesn't land anymore. It's empty. You can't fake lived experience, darling. Not to a world that's seen your every move. When Pamela Anderson can pull off the same bare-faced honesty thing and people call it empowering, but when Meghan tries, it looks calculated. That's when you know the connection's gone. And then came the shift, the part that made everyone lean in when Meghan started talking about Harry. Here from Harper's Bazaar, courtesy of TRG, the role Grift on X. Oh, the moment she brought Harry into it, the mask slipped. Until that point, everything was neat and tidy like a well-prepped speech. But the second she started describing him, something didn't feel right. The warmth wasn't there. She didn't talk like a woman in love. She talked like someone describing a bodyguard. Every word was about how he protects her, how he absorbs pressure, how he sees the media before she does. It was all about what he does for her, not what she feels for him. I think my boundaries have become stronger. When she said, "No one in the world loves me more than him," it was meant to sound romantic, but it landed heavy. Like she depends on him to hold her together. Like the whole relationship sits on his shoulders. And if you followed Harry's journey, you know the man's been fragile lately, battling the press, the pressure, the isolation. So that dynamic, it sounded draining, not dreamy. That's when readers started feeling uncomfortable, because it didn't sound like partnership, it sounded like a lifeline she's clutching onto. And then came that bizarre little moment in the article that said everything she didn't mean to say. The part no one expected, the introduction. Meghan, Duchess of Sussex. The journalist wrote how she walked into a quiet brownstone, no cameras, no crowd, just a calm setting. Yet Meghan was announced like royalty. Meghan, Duchess of Sussex, in a room with 2 people. No audience, no ceremony. Who does that? It was so tiny a detail, but it screamed the truth. She hasn't let go. For someone who said she walked away from the royal world, that title still clings to her like a badge of worth. And in that moment, you saw it. The entire Harper's Bazaar shoot finally made sense. The tension, the emptiness, the disconnect, it wasn't reinvention, it was resistance. A woman refusing to move on from a crown she claims to have dropped, because deep down, she loves it. The recognition, the formality, the privilege, all the things she says she's outgrown. That Duchess title, it feeds her need to matter. And once people noticed that, the whole piece shifted. And hold on, I have a picture. See? She even showed a photo of her mother-in-law, trying to capture that royal essence again. It was sad like watching someone chase a ghost. Every pose, every quote was her clinging to an identity that's slipping through her fingers. By the time people finished reading, it hit them. Meghan isn't reinventing herself, she's recycling herself. She's trapped between 2 worlds, the glamour of Hollywood and the prestige of royalty, and she can't fully live in either. She left the royal cage but kept the crown. She wants to be free, but she craves the status. That's why everything about her feels confused. Hollywood's about shedding skin. Royals are about tradition. Meghan's trying to do both, and baby, it shows. She talks about transformation, but the woman in those photos looks stuck polished on the surface, restless underneath. The camera didn't lie, it never does. You could see the sadness, the exhaustion, the silent plea for validation. Harper's Bazaar thought they were selling rebirth. What they captured was a woman slowly fading from the spotlight. Meghan throughout this piece. Even the end of the piece said she's remarkably at ease with global celebrity. And that's the problem. She's not at ease with herself. You can't radiate peace when your spirit's still fighting ghosts, and that's why the backlash hit harder this time. It wasn't anger, it wasn't outrage, it was fatigue. People didn't hate her, they were just done. They'd seen this act before. The same tears, the same healing speeches, the same polished sorrow. You might be looking at Meghan Markle saying, someone even said it best, "Sweetie, this is a downgrade." From a palace to a photo shoot, that's not evolution, that's stagnation. And that's the heartbreak of it all. Because this wasn't just a bad cover, it was a mirror. A mirror showing Meghan the story she's been telling no longer matches the woman she's become. Until she decides who she truly is, the Duchess or the Hollywood star, every photo shoot, every interview, every comeback will feel like deja vu. The world isn't angry at her anymore, it's just tired. Because when the audience no longer cares, that's the real end of the show. And here's the thing, no one in Meghan's circle dares to tell her this isn't about bad lighting or a moody lens. This is about authenticity fatigue. People don't connect to polished speeches anymore, they crave rawness, imperfection, truth. But Meghan keeps giving the world the same prepackaged message, the same Royal Hollywood hybrid that feels like a brand, not a person. It's like she's performing vulnerability instead of living it. The audience feels that deep down. They don't hate her, they just don't believe her anymore. Behind the glamour, you can sense her struggle. She wants to be adored like a princess and admired like an icon, but those two worlds demand completely different energies. Royalty requires restraint, Hollywood rewards exposure. And Meghan's trapped trying to juggle both. Every move she makes feels choreographed, like she's still auditioning for approval that never truly comes. You can see it in her eyes on that cover. She's not posing for the camera, she's pleading with it. And child, that's why the reaction hurt her so deeply. Because she knows she poured herself into that shoot, hoping this would be the redemption moment. She wanted the world to say she's evolved, but instead they said she's repeating herself. That quiet rejection cuts harder than a scandal ever could. There were no loud headlines, no public takedowns, just silence. And silence, in the world of fame, is the cruelest response of all. Behind closed doors, her team must have scrambled drafting statements, planning the next move, trying to spin the narrative again. But no PR magic can rewrite what audiences already feel. The truth is, people have grown weary of being sold transformation without seeing change. Meghan talks about stepping into her power, but power isn't scripted, it's earned. And the more she tries to control how she's perceived, the less believable she becomes. You can almost picture her sitting in that quiet New York brownstone afterward, scrolling through reactions, reading the disappointment between the lines. That title Duchess of Sussex echoing in her mind like both a comfort and a curse. Because without it, who is she? A question she hasn't answered yet, maybe one she's too afraid to face. That's what makes this moment so tragic. Not villainous, not scandalous, just deeply human. The Harper's Bazaar disaster wasn't just about a failed photo shoot, it was the world watching a woman caught between what she was and what she pretends to be. And until Meghan finds a version of herself that isn't tied to titles, fame, or the need for validation, she'll keep chasing reinventions that never truly land.